In Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro denounced the far-right insists on its plans against social peace. In Palestine, Israeli bombardment of the Magazi refugee camp left at least 5 people killed in central Gaza. Argentina's football fans celebrate their victory over Colombia at the 2024 Copa America final. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro denounced that the far-right insists on its plans against social peace. He further reaffirmed his call for a great national front against fascism. During a large rally at the Polyhedron of Caracas, the revolutionary forces joyfully received the president back in his candidacy and rejecting the unilateral U.S. sanctions. In this regard, Maduro, candidate for the Great Patriotic Poll, thanked the people for their support to defeat the actions of the far-right and promised to continue working for the national welfare. Maduro also condemned the fascist plans of right-wing domestic sectors that intend to sabotage the electric service and generate violence against the population for their personal interests of taking office. Also, the National Electoral Council continues audits of the electoral machines with respect to software and hardware to ensure that there are no failures during the presidential elections on July 28th. The auditing process was carried out on Sunday at the Caracas Square headquarters. The entity stated that the objective is to check the totalization system and its components. During the process, representatives of the political organizations and the electoral bodies technicians verified that the machines were produced with the corresponding certification codes. The purpose of this audit is to verify the hardware and software, as well as the data of the body machines and the technological solution tests to confirm their optimal operating conditions. On Sunday, the leader of the far-right Popular Force Party, Keiko Fujimori, announced that Peru's former president and her father, Alberto Fujimori, who was released from his conviction for corruption and responsibility for the murder of 25 people, will run for the country's presidency for the 4th time in 2026. Despite the announcement, the country's law states that those who have been convicted of corruption, such as Fujimori, cannot run for the presidency or vice presidency of the country. According to the Public Prosecutor's Office, specialized in corruption crimes, Fujimori, who is 85 years old, was convicted for the murder of 25 Peruvians during his administration in 1992, has 3 other sentences for corruption, and owes around $15 million to the Treasury. Elections for the 4th legislature of the Syrian People's Assembly began on Monday in 8,151 polling stations open in the country's 14 governorates. The voting day will last until 7 p.m. local time and may be extended for a maximum period of 5 hours in all or some polling stations as decided by the High Electoral Commission. The electoral process is conducted entirely under judicial supervision from the nomination of the candidates to the announcement of the results. In the previous elections held in July 2020, 33% of the electoral roll voted, and the current election represents a challenge for Syrians to overcome, particularly in terms of achieving an acceptable popular turnout and electing parliamentarians who are up to the many challenges the country is facing. In other news, the president of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, announced that on July 16 he will sign the pension reform recently approved by Congress of the Republic. Current figures reveal that only 1 out of every 4 Colombians has access to a pension, and only 1 out of every 8 women receives a pension. The pension reform aims to benefit more than 2 million grandfathers and grandmothers who never contributed despite having worked all their lives. The new law will establish a dignified solidarity income, especially for housewives who did not contribute to the system and for the elderly who did not meet the minimum requirements for accessing a pension. The National Assembly of the People of Cuba will deploy on Monday and Tuesday the work of its permanent commissions prior to beginning this Wednesday of the 3rd ordinary period of sessions of its 10th legislature. According to the secretary of this entity, Homero Acosta, 11 permanent working commissions will analyze some 90 issues of interest to citizens after an intense stage of tours and exchange of opinions with labor groups. He also assured that the third ordinary session of the 10th legislature will have an intense agenda in the legal field due to the quantity and quality of the norms to be debated and the importance of economic issues for national life. The Central de Trabajadores de Argentina Autónoma and other union and social organizations continue to promote on Sunday a campaign against the decree of necessity and urgency signed in December by President Javier Milei. The initiative gathers signatures against the resource with the aim of achieving its annulment by the Chamber of Deputies and the Supreme Court. Among the groups that support the action against the policies of the executive are Unidad Popular, the Asociación Trabajadores del Estado, de Servicio, Paz y Justicia. The decree modifies or eliminates more than 300 regulations, and although it has already been rejected by the Senate, according to Article 24, for this repeal it is necessary the disapproval of both chambers of Congress. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. U.S. President Joe Biden announced on Sunday that he ordered an independent investigation into the security arrangement for former President Donald Trump's elections rally the day before in Butler, Pennsylvania, where a sniper attempted to assassinate him. The president stressed that the investigation is in its initial stages and asked not to speculate on the motives of the alleged killer, Thomas Matthew Crooks, a 20-year-old white man who fired an AR-15 assault rifle from the roof of a building. He also said that the Secret Service will provide Trump with the necessary means to protect his security, and that he ordered the agency's director, Kim Cheadle, to increase measures for the Republican National Convention scheduled to begin on Monday in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Furthermore, Biden referred to the actions to be taken moving forward in terms of security.
As this investigation continues, here's what we're going to do. First, Mr. Trump is a former president and nominee of the Republican Party, already receives a heightened level of security. And I've been consistent in my direction to the Secret Service to provide him with every resource, capability, and protective measure necessary to ensure his continued safety. Second, I've directed the head of the Secret Service to review all security measures for the Republican National Convention, which is scheduled to start tomorrow. And third, I've directed an independent review of the national security at yesterday's rally to assess exactly what happened, and we'll share the results of that independent review with the American people as well.
The person who died in the attack on the former U.S. President Donald Trump was identified as Corey Camperotore, a firefighter. At a press conference, Pennsylvania Governor Judge Shapiro confirmed the victim's identity, who was an avid supporter of the former Republican president. The Democratic governor pointed out that, according to the victim's wife, Corey Camperatore died when he rushed to protect his family from shooting during the attack. The governor of Pennsylvania added that he was an avid supporter of the former president and was so excited to be there with him in the community. With reinforced security measures, the Republican National Convention will begin Monday in the U.S. city of Milwaukee, where the nearly 2,400 delegates attending will certify Donald Trump's presidential candidacy in 2024. The appointment has among its expectations Trump's announcement of who will be his vice president. During the four-day meeting, our platform will be approved and the electoral binomial will be officially announced. The short list of aspirants to complete Trump's ticket includes Doug Burgum, governor of North Dakota, as well as Senators Marco Rubio from Florida and J.D. Vance from Ohio. In this context, and after Trump's assassination attempt, coordinator Audrey Gibson with the U.S. Secret Service gave some declarations on the higher level of security implemented for the convention.
Yes, we are fully prepared and have a comprehensive security plan in place, and we're ready to go. So as Mayor Johnson and Chief mentioned, this is a national special security event. That designation is the highest level of security designation that the federal government can determine. So we are confident in these security plans that are in place for this event, and we're ready to go. It's been an 18-month process. We've worked together over that 18 months to develop operational security plans for any and all aspects of security related to this event. Yes, we are fully.
Palestine, at least 5 people were killed after an Israeli bombardment of the Maghazi refugee camp in the central Gaza Strip. Wafa news agency reported 3 children among the victims of the airstrike, which targeted a home of the Al-Mananama family. The bombing occurred simultaneously with other strikes on the Al-Magharaka area and the neighboring Nusayrat and Bureij camps, all in the heart of the destroyed enclave. The attacks come 2 days after the massacre perpetrated by Israel in the humanitarian zone of Mawasi, where 90 people were killed and more than 300 injured. The new British Foreign Secretary David Lammy called for an immediate ceasefire in the Gaza Strip this Sunday during a visit to Israel and the Palestinian territories. Lammy complied with both sides that the death and destruction in Gaza is intolerable and that this war must end now with an immediate ceasefire. He also said that he is meeting with Palestinian and Israeli leaders to stress the UK's ambition and commitment to play its full diplomatic role in securing a ceasefire deal and creating the space for a credible and irreversible pathway towards a two-state solution. On this occasion, he met with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as well as the Prime Minister of the Palestinian National Authority, Mohammad Mustafa. In Israel, thousands of people marched once again to demand the resignation of the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and an agreement that guarantees the release of the Israelis held in Gaza. Demonstrators marched for the 4th consecutive day from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, where they demanded the Israeli government to reach an agreement allowing the hostages from both sides to return to their families. The protests are held while Netanyahu insists on continuing the aggression despite internal pressures and the condemnation of the international community. We now have a financial break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience. You can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Financial break, don't go away. Welcome back. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova asserted that Ukraine was plotting an attack on Russian President Vladimir Putin with U.S. funding. On Telegram, Zakharova pointed out that one of the leaders of the Kiev regime, Budanov, publicly confessed that the Ukrainian intelligence had been preparing an attack against the Russian president. These preparations were carried out with U.S. fundings, without which the General Intelligence Director of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, the Security Service, or the Presidential Office could not function. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov affirms that President Putin's security is duly guaranteed. The Russian government has deemed as threatening the decision announced at the latest North Atlantic Treaty Organization summit. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the resolution passed recently at the NATO meeting poses a threat to Moscow, as the alliance has confirmed its intentions to eventually admit Ukraine. Peskov claims that in so doing, NATO does not contribute to diplomatic negotiations between the parties, but rather fosters hostilities against Russia by continuing to supply and provide military assistance to Ukraine. And the third plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China began on Sunday. The topics to be discussed until next July 18th will be related to the country's modernization, the deepening of the reform, and the current economic situation of the Asian nation. According to the Xinhua news agency, the meeting stressed that the goal is to further improve the socialist system with Chinese peculiarities and promote the modernization of the national governance system. In addition, the Political Bureau reiterated China's goal of becoming a great modern socialist country. At the meeting, they also called for proper management of the relationship between economy and society, government and market, efficiency and equity, vitality and order, development and security. On Sunday, the Future Movement of Venezuela presented at the Teresa Carreño Theater in Caracas a film and book inspired by President Nicolas Maduro, who thanked the authors for their interesting and moving work. The film, Nicolás, conceived as a series of 5 chapters, was directed by professor and filmmaker Grayson Chacon. The first session summarizes in 63 minutes parts of the president's life with his family, childhood, friends, and young people. Chacon told the Venezolana de Televisión that it was a challenge and that many of the actors have no acting experience. Maduro said he was impressed and thanked the efforts of those who portray the characters and announced that the story will continue. On Monday, Argentina's fans continued to celebrate winning the 2024 Copa America after beating Colombia 1-0. In this way, the Argentine national football team won their 16th trophy in just the 47th edition of this continental tournament, thanks to a goal scored by Lautaro Martinez in overtime. It is worth noting that with this victory, the Argentine national team surpassed Uruguay as the most winning team in Copa America, as they also materialized a back-to-back championship after their win in the 2021 edition. And also on Sunday, Spain won its 4th UEFA European Championships title as it beat England 2-1 in the Euro Cup 2024 final at the Berlin Olympic Stadium. Spain and England were tied at 0-0 at halftime after a tense opening 45 minutes where both teams were defending well. The Spanish side quickly changed gear entering the second half as it was quick to score thanks to an incredible pass from Carvajal to Lamine, who delivered a great assist to Nico Williams for the lead goal. England would not settle, and at the 73rd minute, Cole Palmer, who had just entered the pitch, scored an amazing goal from outside the box. The game continued to be evenly disputed, yet at the 86th minute, Oyarzabal scored the winning goal on a close onside goal. With the victory, Spain became the nation with the most European title, and with its outstanding performance during the tournament, it became the first team to win all 7 matches at the major tournament. Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website, telesurenglish.net. So join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.